Hello, welcome to the video. In today's video we're going to talk about paddles. So here we've got a 3D printed paddle controller that I designed myself with 2 buttons. Nothing funky, it's easy enough to 3D print, and yeah, how can you make your own? Well, I've put all the designs for this up on Thingiverse. It's a super simple design where it's only got 3 bits. So you've got top, bottom and knob, you've got a strain relief, and inside you've got just 1 potentiometer and 2 switches. That is it. The whole thing's held together with 4 bolts. It doesn't get any simpler than this. Originally I came up with it for the Mister, because there were some demonbite controllers on there, and I made a spinner version with a full encoder. And at the same time, well, it was a bit earlier, I come up with a joystick. You put a cheap arcade controller in it, standard buttons, and it's bomb-proof. I mean, it's just so simple to make these things. But this is what I want to talk about today. There's a few games that support paddles, not many. On the 64 and Vic, you know, there's only a few. On the Vic20, I believe Omega Race, Clowns, and a handful of others supported it. On the 64, Arkanoid supports it, Night Driver, and there's a few more. Clowns is also on 64, I think, and that supports it. But playing with an analog controller like this is a lot easier than using a joystick. I'm bad enough without an Arkanoid. So, how do you do this? Right, it's shit drawing time. Let's get this shit out of the way. Bring in the pad. Dun 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 dun. Here we go again. So, like I said, there's only it's so simple. There's only 4 wires to this. So if we've got our 9-pin D sub over here, this is the name for the port that goes into the C64. A lot of people call it an Atari connector because I think they're the first ones that did it. So let's yeah, oh. No drawing's complete without a super wonky D sub. Right, okay. So on there we've got 9 pins going back to the port, and that was originally so that it could have 2 controllers at once. But we're only wiring for 1, so yeah. Now we've got a potentiometer, and that's got 3 tabs on it that you can solder to. Look at that, how shit is that? The centre one, the wiper, that goes to pin 9. So we're going to go, and that's pin 9. Okay? So what we're going to do is, when you look at this thing, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay? Now the wiper is what gives you your analog voltage back. So pin 7, I believe, goes to the outside of the potentiometer. So what the potentiometer does is you've got your 3 connections, and you put power into one of them, and as you turn it, one goes up and one goes down in resistance. So basically what I'm saying to you is, if you wire this up and you get it wrong, you move left and it goes right, and you move right and it goes left. All you've got to do is move one wire to the other connection. It's just so simple. Now the switches, yeah, the only little thing I did here was I wired 2 together. And that's because some people like the top, some people like the side, so I figured, well, fuck it. Why not have both? Now the switches are really easy, but they're in parallel. So these are your 2 switch symbols, like this. And that goes to, let's have a look, that goes through there, and up to pin 8. Yep. And now the other one The last connection joins them two together, goes up and goes pin 3. Look at that. So that's all you got to do on the switch. You literally take the two connections to the same on the other two, just like a daisy chain, and then go off to pin 3 and 8. And it doesn't matter which way you get these two round. Doesn't matter at all. It's only a switch. That is the paddle controller. Holy shit, there's fuck all to it. So, let's get that out of the way. So back to this. It's really easy to print. You can see by how I've printed this. I've made it a certain way that you can print. I print this side up. I know you've got to use a fair bit of filament for the support underneath, but it gives you a much nicer finish on the outside. The buttons I believe I got from Primaroni. I did leave complete instructions on Thingiverse, and the designs on there, build your own. I mean, I've made a few of them, like I said. I think I've got a funky green one, and they work really well. So what I'm going to do is, I think I've waffled on about this enough now. I don't think there's anything else. 0.2mm printing, yeah, 0.2mm printing, yeah. I tend to use that a lot because it's structurally stronger. But this is, I think this particular one I've actually printed in ABS. So this is this is as fucking strong as you're going to get. But I have printed some in PET. Here we go. Which this one's an encoder one, but it's the same thing. And this is in PET G, and this is solid as well. As you can see, it's got a good finish on it. Lovely. You can get these buttons in whatever colours you like. You'll also see on Thingiverse that, you know, there's the joysticks on there. These are quite good. They might look a bit angular, but they sit in your hand nice. You can get these joystick kits with buttons off eBay for about £9, and then you just got to print a case. Now for the cables, what I tend to do is I tend to get an extension cable and chop the female end off. Bing, you've got pre-made cable. It's just mega simple. Okay, so now that I waffled on about that enough, let's fire up the machine and have a go. Right, so here we are. Here's the 128 and the controller. So what we're going to do is check out a couple of games of it. Let's fire up the new power supply from episode 1. Now I'm going on a Kung Fu Flash, and we've gone straight into Night Driver, which was, believe it or not, I didn't even know this existed before today. So it's a clone of the Atari 2600 one, and I actually really like that. I had that back in the day. So here we go. Yeah. Oh. Now I'm running an ARM SID in here with the first firmware on, so I think they've improved it to make it less jittery. But that, I don't think that's going to improve my score much. Come on. Oh, we've got some speed now. Oh, fucked it. So you just hold the button down to accelerate. Paddle import 1. Oh, fuck me. Right, okay. You can see I'm not very good at that fucker. What we're going to do is let's try a mega race. There we go. F5 for paddle. Right, paddle me up. Oh yes. You stand half a chance with this. Oh, man. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Oh. Yeah, game over. Let's, yeah. Fuck. Let's have another go at that one. So it's a short press to fire and a long press to thrust. It's not a bad mechanic. It's just that I'm supremely shit at the game. Oh man. If the idea of the game was to run head on into them, I'm going to be a master. Yeah. Right. Let's try something else. Okay. Let's have a look. Now, what we need is Arkanoid. This is the one. Paddles. Look at that. So, detected straight away. Let's check it out. Oh, look at that. That is brilliant. Gotta warn you now, I was never very good at this game. It's just so much more intuitive with a paddle controller. Well, even I stand half a chance at this speed. Fucking hell. Come on. That's better. Oh, you're taking a piss. What? You see how fast I managed to get that back over there? You got no hope of doing that with a joystick. None at all. Yes. The only bat worth having. Come on. These bloody green ones, I can keep them. They're shit. Well, we knew that was coming. Right. How? Yeah. Oh man, come on. Oh, this is going to make for some stellar bloody video, isn't it? Come on. Oh, hello. What? Yes! Now, whoever invented this level, right, needs a kick in the nuts. You know, they just had a bad day before they drew this fucker up. What, more lives? Bloody hell. Right, okay. Here we go. Oh, bollocks. This is easy with a paddle as well. Oh. You fuck off. Okay, so what we're saying then. Let's turn that down. So, paddle controllers. They're brilliant. There's a few games out there. If you look on Wikipedia, it shows you what supports them. You can make one that looks and feels really nice in an afternoon. It's a really easy project. I know I didn't mention it earlier, but I used a 500k linear pot, but that's on the Thingiverse page. I'm going to link to that in the description. Build your own. The only thing left to say is check out 8-bit Retro Refix. Not 64-bit Retro Refix, like I said in the last video. Yeah, he's got some good stuff going on over there. And thanks for watching.